When I turned 50, I lost my corporate job. I had a decision to make. I could have run down to my car and cried, which, by the way, I did. Or I could have looked at the situation as an opportunity for growth and to make my life better. Hello, FitWise fam. My name is Ruth, and I started this channel to help people who are 40, 50, or even over 60 like me live a better life, live a fitter, healthier, more fulfilling life for the rest of their lives. It was a beautiful day, and it was the day I was supposed to have a meeting with my boss, who was the chief financial officer at the time, about my bonus. I was the vice president of tax of a public company. I'm a CPA professionally, and I was expecting a really good bonus. I had saved the company a lot of money in taxes that year. I was a single mom. I had two daughters. They were in high school at the time, so they lived at home with me, and I was responsible for them. I had a great job, and it paid the bills and even allowed me to put a little bit of money away for their college. I had an appointment scheduled with my boss at 11 a.m. I still remember the time. And she came into my office. She sat down across the desk from me in a chair. And she told me that in order for me to receive my bonus, I was going to have to move. I live in Canada, and there's a province in Canada called Quebec. Quebec is a French speaking province, or predominantly French speaking, and I don't speak French. She told me that they were moving the head office, and in order for me to receive my bonus, I would have to move myself, my daughters, and my life. And in that moment, I experienced the worst panic possible because I didn't want to move. I didn't want to uproot my children who had friends and were doing incredibly well at school. I didn't want to have to take on learning another language in order to do my job. My job was highly technical, and to do it in French, I couldn't even imagine. So, in that moment, I don't know what came over me. I felt like I had been effectively fired. So, I looked around. There was a box on the floor beside me. I picked it up, I put it on my desk, and I started emptying the contents of my desk drawers into that box. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm not moving, so I'm quitting. I'm quitting if you're not giving me my bonus." I was relying on that bonus to help put away more money for my kids' college education. And I felt literally like Clark Griswold in the scene of Christmas Vacation where his boss doesn't give out a bonus, a Christmas bonus, and he wanted to buy that swimming pool. Well, I didn't want a swimming pool. I wanted to help pay for my kids' education. So she looked at me and she said, "You can't quit. You're in the middle of a tax audit." And I said, "Watch me." And I picked up the box. I walked down the hall. She chased me down, and I kept going, and I got to my car. My heart was beating so fast. I was sweating. I got in my car, and I literally broke down crying. I was scared. And then in that moment, I stopped and I thought, was I really happy where I was? Not really. Did I like the pressure of the position I had? Not really. And did I have confidence that I would be able to find something that was more in alignment with who I was? Likely. So I brushed myself off. I headed home, and I literally spent a couple of weeks just really contemplating what exactly it was that I wanted to do with my life. The first problem I had was I had bills to pay. I had a mortgage. I had kids to take care of. And I knew I had to do something pretty quickly. So I called my boss back up and I said, "Look, I'm not prepared to move, but I am prepared to help you through the tax audit. You can hire me on contract basis. I have all the information on the file. I know the tax auditors, they know me. I know exactly where we are, and I'm happy to come back and help you out on a contract basis. She offered me some ridiculously low hourly rate. And I said, absolutely not. This is my rate. And I jacked it sky high because I knew that she was in a position that she really needed me. So she agreed. So that filled the gap. I went back 3 days a week only to deal with the tax audit. And the rest of the time, I really just spent time thinking about what's my next move? Do I want another job? Do I want to be at the mercy of some corporation that's going to make decisions about me and for me? And the answer was no. And that's when my entrepreneurial spirit was born. After a lot of self reflection, I knew that I loved the fitness industry. I loved helping people become fit, healthy, and I decided that that's where I wanted to spend my time. I had already done an Ironman triathlon and a number of shorter distance triathlons. I was a gym goer. I loved fitness, and I wanted to be able to help people with their health and their fitness. So I decided that I was going to open up a gym. When I looked at opening up a traditional gym, it was going to cost me literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that wasn't an option at the time. A funny thing happened though. I think that when we open up space for new things show up. We're more receptive to noticing them. CrossFit at the time was relatively new in Canada. And I decided to go to a CrossFit gym to try it out. And I remember walking in, I had just finished Ironman the year before. I was still very, very fit. And the guy said, are you fit? Have you ever worked out before? And I was like, oh, yeah, I've done Ironman, no problem. And he put me through my very first CrossFit workout, and I literally thought I was going to die. It was so hard. And as I laid on the floor in a pool of sweat, it was in that moment that I realized that CrossFit had something to it. It had already taken off in the United States, but it was new in Canada. And I realized that that was my opportunity. It had very low capital investment required, and I could get started with minimal equipment and minimal space. So I got busy. I opened a gym. It was a little scary. I remember signing the lease for the space, and though it wasn't expensive, I was still scared. But what I've learned is sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zone and take calculated risks in order for us to lead a different life. It was the life that I wanted. It was the life that I wanted where I could help people become fit and impart all the knowledge I had gained from my own experiences in fitness and health. Well, my gym opened up, and before long, I had moved to a large 10,000 square foot facility with hundreds of happy members. It was such an amazing experience. I became a fitness model. I was on the walls of Lululemon stores as an ambassador. It was just a dream come true. And that could have never happened if I hadn't lost my job. I would have kept doing the same thing every day, doing the grind, doing the commute, making some money, coming home exhausted, and doing it all over again. But instead, I turned that situation into something so positive that it just kept blossoming from there. And what happened after that was truly incredible. Being in Canada, it was almost impossible to get kettlebells and certain types of weights that are used in CrossFit into Canada. It was all so new back then. So somehow I came up with the idea that I was going to import equipment and start an online store. Online shopping was relatively new back then, so I had a lot of skills to learn. I built an e-commerce website myself. I was importing trailer loads of equipment and having them shipped out to various CrossFit facilities in Canada that were opening up. I learned incredible skills. I learned them the hard way by myself through trial and error, but those skills took me to even greater places, to having multiple online businesses. And none of this would have happened if I hadn't lost my job. So what is my message to you? 12 years ago, I lost my job, and today I sit at home with thriving online businesses. I've since sold my gym. I'm 62 years old now. I sold it a couple of years ago to someone much younger than me who's doing a fantastic job, by the way. So, what did losing my job do? Number one, it allowed me to step back and prioritize myself, my happiness, my fitness, and health. That turned into having incredible energy and clarity around the direction I was going. When I was in corporate, slugging it out, yes, I made great money, but I was exhausted all the time. I barely had any time for myself. So if you've lost your job, then just know that prioritizing yourself has to come first so that you can open up space for the right decision for you. That may be finding the right job for you, acquiring a new skill so you can do something different, but always make sure you prioritize getting back into shape because that's going to allow you to have energy to do all the things that you really want to do. So, what's my message to you? You're never too old to reinvent yourself. If you've lost your job, I encourage you to challenge yourself and accept those nudges that the universe is giving you towards something new. You may even want to start a YouTube channel as that's something new. Whatever it is, recognize the nudge and take a good look at it to see if it's exactly what you've been dreaming of. Number two, finding or refinding your fitness could be exactly what you need to feel empowered and confident to accept those nudges, to take action on them, and make a true change in your life. Lastly, I want you to know if I can do it at 50, so can you. I haven't worked a day in the last 12 years, I'm 62 now, for someone else. And if that's something you desire, then embrace it and take action. Age is just a number. As we age, we have so much more experience, so many more life skills to offer. And when we embrace that, we can become empowered and powerful. So, if living your best life over 50 is something that you truly want to do, make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out my other videos to help you get fit, feel well and confident, and make the best out of your retirement years.